upon us, and that means it's time to do one thing, same thing we did every week last year. It's time to find the must plays. Today, what we're going to do, similar to what we did yesterday for yesterday's showdown slate, we're going to look at some projections. We're going to look at ownership projections as well from Stochastic. We're then going to run the optimizer on the solver. We're going to run some sims in the solver, run some sims on Stochastic. We're then going to hop over to Underdog, do a battle royale, do a pick'em, and right after this video as well will be a deep dive using the data that I swear by, that I gave access to people last year for the first time, some of whom won, I think, tens of thousands of dollars, if not $100,000. So we'll talk about that data sheet in the members only stream after this one. But today it's going to be your must plays for week one. And let's look at the projections up top. And shout out to the chat as well. Going to try to start this one hot, but here we go. Appreciate you guys being here. Bring me all the haters and losers who said Worthy's too small. I'm not going to talk about that right now. I would say the usage of that game was really not as good as people think, but still great game for Worthy yesterday. And the line we built on stream apparently did really well. I didn't realize I put likely in that one. So good lineup yesterday. Let's see if we can build a good one today. We got Jalen Hurts. Actually, let's get the main guys off here. We're not going to do the Friday game too much. If you guys have questions about it, save it for the next stream for sure for the members only. We're going to go main slate here. So top projected players right now. We got Tyreek Hill projected #1 overall according to Stochastic, his home game against Jacksonville. We got Josh Allen against Arizona, #2, 21.9 projected points. AR #3. So Tyreek being ahead of 3 QBs kind of shows you he's a player that should pop up a lot in an optimizer using Stochastic projections, using Stochastic sims, stuff to keep in mind there. CJ Stroud's #3, not too far behind AR, and CeeDee Lamb is #5 here. So we got 3 QBs in a row, Allen, AR, and Stroud. Tyreek Hill up top, CeeDee Lamb bracketing these guys here, bracketing the QB plays. These are top projected plays right now. In terms of value plays, let's sort by that. AR looks like a top value. He should come up a good amount in optimizer, you would think. Jaden Daniels, the thumbnail boy. It may shock you to hear I've got some Jaden Daniels takes. Even for just week one, he's looking like a top value as well, which maybe makes him a little bit less appealing than he would be in my brain, just based upon the opportunity going against Tampa Bay and who he is as a player. Caleb Williams, another top value. Baker Mayfield, another top value. Daniel Jones, another top value. So we're looking at, this is exclusively all QB top values. Projection-wise, you don't see a player who isn't a QB amongst the top values until you get to the Titans Ds. So it does not look like it'll be concentrated chalk. Obviously, the numbers can move around over the course of a weekend. For right now, though, it seems like you're going to get some AR popping a lot in optimizers. Going to get some Jaden Daniels popping up in optimizers. You are going to get a lot of these QBs, it seems, more than you will get a single position player just based upon their price tag and the value it represents. Ownership right now for Stochastic is fucked up. It's including players from the Monday slate. So let me see if I can give it one more refresh. If maybe they fixed it. It's not going to be the most insightful look unless they corrected it. Oh, now I have to log in too. Thanks, guys. Crushing it here. Should put up the Stochastic plug, though. They have some good deals going on right now. The best deal, though, 15% off using the promo code SPLASH. That also includes the packages you can get with them that are $1 for the first week. You still basically get to give us a credit for that one. And when you're paying real money for your membership, we get attributed for that too. So check out Stochastic. You get 15% off with that promo code SPLASH. Link in the description as well if you want to go save some money on that. All right, so McCaffrey projected #1 overowned. Obviously, he's not going to be on the slate, so that doesn't matter. Josh Jacobs projected #2. That doesn't matter. Looking at the players that are in the slate, that we know are in the slate, Tyreek Hill chalk, not a surprise given the fact that, again, he's a top projected player on the slate. We saw that a moment ago. Alvin Kamara looked like a good value play. He's a guy that's going to be pretty chalky based on some sims I was playing with yesterday. Mark Andrews we saw yesterday. It doesn't matter. Sunday night games. Ownership is not the most helpful look this week, and I apologize for it, but that's on the data provider, unfortunately. Let's go to the solver, though. Solver here, of course, a different data set. Their projections, though, not dissimilar. Josh Allen, they have projected #1 in the slate. Tyreek Hill, #2. Stroud, AR, Trevor Lawrence. So, again, top QBs up top here. The only player of note besides the QBs is going to be Josh Allen. And CeeDee Lamb, it looks like they have substantially lower as well than Stochastic. Got him closer to top 10 than top 5. But let's look at their ownership as well. Top owned plays according to ETR right now. Kyle Pitts projected highest owned play with almost 30% ownership. I'd be surprised to see that with the hamstring concerns for him. Hopefully he'll be a full go. Don't expect him to be held out or anything, but seeing 30% ownership for a guy who's had an injury history and also a player who in the past, people have kind of soured on. I'd be surprised to see Kyle Pitts be 30% owned, but that's where he is right now at the $4,600 price tag versus Pittsburgh. Rashad White, number 2, in terms of the ownership expected by ETR. Kamara, again, another RB not too far off here. These guys should be pretty popular plays. Rashad White in the potential shootout spot versus Washington. Washington defense that also sucks pretty bad. He's a logical play to go to, I think, based on the ownership. But again, we worry about his talent a little bit, worry about the Bucky Irving usage. I don't know if Bucky Irving rears his ugly head or his beautiful head to me in week 1 necessarily, but it does mean that there's probably a good shot here. The best shot really for Rashad White to put it down, earn a roll, show that he's the alpha back coming up in week 1. So I would get the ownership here, especially going along with how much casuals like Rashad White throughout the entire spring and summer. Tyreek Hill, a top-owned play according to ETR. Drake London, we talked about Kamara. Kenneth Walker would be one of my favorites, but he's got 23% projected ownership on him as well, so not too light there. Let's see what an unencumbered crunch gives us here to get a read on what the optimizer is going to be forcing people onto, what the math is going to force people onto. And that is something that helped out a lot yesterday. Again, pointed out the Rashee Rice, Patrick Mahomes thing, them popping up everywhere. They did make the winning lineup, though Mahomes by the skin of his teeth did. The way to get different, though, as I mentioned, was like if you're going to play these chalky players, you got to get really different somewhere else. The way to get different was Isaiah Likely as captain. So that's yesterday's slate as a kind of a micro example what we talk about in DFS. So when you see the math push people a certain way, you do want to be mindful of it. The math here, the optimal lineup seems to be pushing people towards AR, Alvin Kamara, Rashad White, Tyreek Hill, Drake London, Christian Kirk as a receiver core here. So all guys we liked in best ball, or at least that I liked in best ball. Kyle Pitts, Yoshivas here at 3K flat, and Chargers D. So Chargers D has been a play I've been putting in a lot in some of my hand builds, just kind of tinkering with stuff so far. Yoshivas, not a player that's been on my radar at all at 3K. If he is the chalk play of the week, just go into Jamar Chase, go into Higgins more, maybe swap off of a Tyreek and go that way. Certainly some ways to do that, assuming that Chase is going to be active, of course, this weekend. This hold out, hold in still technically going on. But Chargers D coming up a lot here, and AR naked probably going to play a good amount using both sides projections. I don't want to simulate these because these are going to be not the best lineups. See if I could let's force stacking here. And with ETR's solver tool, you can just kind of force your QB, your lineups to do some basic things up top. So we're going to avoid opposing defense. We're going to maximize the salary cap. We're going to use only one skill player per team. I don't think we want to do that one necessarily. Avoid tight end and flex. Let's not do that either. We'll use these core settings here. We're stacking our QBs. We're trying to game stack, avoid the opposing defense, and maximizing the salary cap. Let's see what it gives us to optimize here. Let's build 300. All right. Again, this is the solver's actual process, by the way. I'm showing you guys in real time. So check it out for yourself. Link in the description as well for the solver. The part that I like about the solver, and I used it to build my lineups yesterday compared against Stochastic, but I used the solver to build yesterday because I like the optimization component. What I basically did was I built a bunch of 1-5 teams, 2-4 teams, 3 3s, 4 2s, 5 1s, basically all the builds I want to have in a showdown. And then I kind of pared them down, made them compete against each other in the Sims. I didn't have enough Isaiah Likely, so that fucked up the thing. But it did allow me to get some lineups that represented the angles I wanted to play more. And with Stochastic Sims tools, I think you kind of have to export them, use Excel, or be really aggressive using the tool on the site itself to get the lineups you really want. So to me, that's been the biggest difference between the solver and Stochastic's tools so far. I think both have their merits, but kind of have to point them out. I also should have put variants on this. Sorry, guys. I'm like, why is this taking so fucking slow? It's because I didn't put any variants on. Let's use ETR's regular variance. It was just the standard deviation per player. All right, now it's optimized. That'll go faster. I'm showing you guys the real process every week. That's the thing. Just building the lineups. Some people, I think, don't know how to use these products and maybe get intimidated by it. So if you are that person, no shame here. I'll walk you through how I do it. A lot more settings you could also do on the back end here. You could do advanced settings. You could force QBs +1, QBs +2. You could force boosts as well. If you're playing a QB, give all his receivers a 25% boost, 15% boost. You can do that as well. So lots of customization on the solver, but I'm just going to try to show you guys the basic version of what they're going to simulate and shows the best lineups here. And again, after this one, my first members only feed, guys, so stay tuned. I think that's going to be the most helpful thing because it's going to be helpful for me, number one, to go through the data and have to sort of force myself to make takes on each one. For you guys as well, seeing the actual advantages based on matchups. It's something that's kind of hard to talk through while doing this process. It's going to be a little bit easier to do and just looking only at the data. We got some millionaire entries. What is it? The $5 millionaire this week, right? No, they don't have the millionaire in here. The Millie Maker, rather. What's the highest entry pool that we can get? All right, they really don't have the best prize pools to do a sim here. I guess it'd be the slant We'll sim for the slant here. Not sure why they don't have the cheaper Millie Maker this week as one of the options to simulate into, but it's okay. Won't really matter that much. The lineups will still be kind of similar in terms of which ones are going to be playing the best, which ones have the best ROI. Your big game coming up tonight, too. I'm not planning on covering that one, but Stochastic's doing it. I'm sure Neil doing it. Pal Neil Orfield, by the way, went head-to-head versus Stochastics live before lock yesterday. It picked up about like 500 live viewers, so I got to give a shout-out to our pal Neil Orfield. Check out his channel, the Flannelverse, though. You can't search Flannelverse to get it. You have to search Neil Orfield to get it, so I would recommend checking that one out. Top lineups here according to Sim ROI from the Solver. Oh, shit! Oh, okay. So the Solver seems to like Jaden as much as I do. We got Jaden, Kamara, Aaron Jones, Drake London, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Evan Ingram, Terry McLaurin in the flex, Texans D. This is the kind of lineup I would build, and I love it. I really was hoping I would be somewhat unique loading up on Jaden stacks in whatever tournaments I play this weekend. And no, we are getting Jaden out the wazoo. We got a Caleb Williams lineup here. Let's see what they're stacking up with him. Got Caleb, Javonte Williams, Rashad White, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, Kyle Pitts, Jerome Ford. So one thing the Solver also does pretty well, I think, with the way that they approach things is a little bit different than Stochastics. They basically will sometimes have these kind of builds where, all right, so we saw a ton of Jaden stacked up lineups up top in terms of the top ROIs. You then have one here where they're basically fading the Commanders' offense entirely. Rashad White at RB, Buccaneers D coming back. I don't think that hits, but if you're going to go against what I believe the most this week, which is the Jaden Daniels thing, it is nice to see that in the sim results as well. Trevor Lawrence ETR liked a good amount. See what they're doing here. So we're getting Lawrence with an Achane bring back. So Trevor Lawrence, Taylor, Achane, Nico, Neighbors, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson, market lines for his receiving yards for week 1 are not good. They're around 50 yards, which is not going to do a lot for you. Definitely looks like a best ball lineup. And Johnny Munt, not a best ball lineup at all. Is it hard to sim for a million lineups? You can't sim for a million lineups. You're simming on any tool, 10,000 to 20,000 lineups. You're not doing a million anywhere. You could even build a million lineups for most slates. Let's see. I feel like we need a screenshot of Spags' face when he saw that much JD. I don't know what I did, but it was shock. I mean, it was a glee. I mean, it's glee and horror. This is the top 10 lineups, all Jaden. So I think right away, just seeing this, going to the Jaden double is probably the move because nobody's going to play the Jaden double. They think he's a rushing QB. If he can hit, and I will say from some of the hand builds I did, just kind of playing around a little bit, Zach Ertz's tight end, I think, is kind of appealing here, especially if you're going to see tools like the Solver push people towards the Johnny Munt kind of tier players. Let's see what other tight ends we're getting in here. Another Caleb Williams build. Kyle Pitts. Can he beat out Kyle Pitts? Maybe not. Can he punch in 2 touchdowns? I think he can. So I think Zach Ertz, to me, is kind of an interesting player here. For a week 1, still believe in Ben Sinnott the most over the course of a year. But for right now, I think that Ertz, based on these builds, where you're only getting Daniels and McLaurin, like you're not getting a single one besides McLaurin here. It does seem like the Solver just really wants that combo. Let's go over to Stochastics tool now. Let's build some lineups in here. And again, we're creating the pool size, so 10,000 lineups. You also change what different kind of levels of stacks go into a lineup as well. So we're going to do that here. Marquee tournament. We are going for the big tournament here. Let's generate lineups if it'll let me. I don't know why this is coming out wonky. Okay. Stochastic tool needs to be big enough or else it won't do it correctly. There we go. All right. Now we're back. So different version of sim coming up here with the Stochastic tool. Again, 15% off. Check the link in the description for Stochastic. Again, great tools on there. I think really just them versus the Solver is differing approaches. If you want to play with an optimizer and also sim stuff out, Solver is the one for you. If you want to be kind of spoon-fed lineups a little bit more, maybe just blindly tail some a little bit more, I think going into Stochastic is the better way to do that. So that's my read personally. Obviously, you guys can do whatever you want. And you have some more customization in here as well that I think is pretty nice too. Team controls, can focus all your lineup builds on specific teams. It's kind of nice to do too. Not that you can't do that on the Solver as well. Lamar got robbed. How did he get robbed? What he ran really well. I mean, he passed like dog shit a lot of times, but likely so is out. I don't know. I didn't see any robbery yesterday. It was a good game. We got boner alerts here. There we go. I'll take that. And guys, again, if you appreciate this video, I'm trying my best to show you a real process of what it looks like to try to figure out how to play a slate. Subscribe down below with the like button. Leave a comment. I'll be doing these videos every day, of course, at 11 a.m. But in particular, main slates on Fridays, showdowns Mondays and Thursdays. And on Sunday, I'm planning at 9 a.m. to do a stream, but don't hold me to that because I have to check with the wife about our schedule with Luca because she may not want me to. She may need to sleep. So we'll stay tuned for that one. But either way, check it out here on the channel. Like and subscribe. You'll get notifications whenever I put out new content. All right, so here's the player pool here. Again, same things ownership-wise. You're getting about 25% Tyreek. So this is actually a more accurate reflection than the actual stochastic ownership is right now, which is messed up, and is including basically the Thursday to Monday slate. For this would be the actual ownership where they're expecting Tyreek 25, Kamara 22, Rachaad White. So it seems like ETR expects more Rachaad White. Stochastic expects more Kamara. It seems to be the biggest break here. And Kenneth Walker looking a lot lower round on stochastic than ETR currently. Let's simulate these. The tournament, I think, is 25% to first. I think it's 1 million, 4 million guaranteed. Let's run the simulation off that. Let's see what we get on stochastic. And then I'll hand build one. We'll do a battle royale. We'll build a pick'em, even though I can't place pick'ems in my state, but I'll give you one. I'll give you my best shot at it. You guys can let me know how bad I failed. That's the goal. I got Chad here. Glad to see Chad back in. Hope Chad had a good best ball summer for himself. Lamar robbed himself, missing Zay in the end zone. That was a bad one. Yeah, Zay was wide fucking open. Lamar, I think, he's one of those guys where I get the love for Lamar. He's great with what he did rushing yesterday. If he's going to do that in every game, if we're talking over 10 rushes a game, going to have the most fantasy upside he's ever had in his career. The accuracy, I thought, really showed. Like, he was playing fast and loose. Real loose. I think the loosest Lamar's ever played is what we saw yesterday, which kind of goes hand in hand with all the camp reports about him having more control over the offense. But the accuracy, I thought, was like he was back to year one, not accurate, which is not what you want to see necessarily. You have an interest in T-Law stacks? I mean, that's fine. I think it's going to be kind of chalky. ETR has him pretty highly ranked. I think he'll come up a lot. I think people love T-Law. I think people are going to love that game environment. I personally wouldn't be opposed. It's playing a little more Miami heavy builds. Miami's defense shutting down Jacksonville. But I think that's going to be one of the chalk games of the week. So I personally prefer the Jaden Tampa Bay approach if we're going to go into a Florida game. But I certainly get why you would want to go Jacksonville, Miami. I just think a lot of people are going to want to go there. I think that's like the chalk. That's going to be the chalk is what I would have to guess. Besides some of the players we already looked at, but we'll see. People just love the Miami offense too much. They love Trevor Lawrence too much. They fingers in the ears anytime Trevor Lawrence plays like dog shit. And again, right here, we're getting Miami stacked up top. So the most highest ROI lineup right now, according to Stochastic, Tua, Kenneth Walker. Again, Walker, one of my favorite plays. I will say that this week against Denver. Chuba Hubbard, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Roman Wilson, and Titans. I would have a really hard time playing Roman Wilson this week. But I guess it's probably a price point pivot to Yoshivas, if I had to guess. Walker, I like. Miami double is pretty aggressive here. Would think you really want to have a Jacksonville bring back if you're going to go to the Miami double. But that build doesn't have it. So there you go. Derek Carr, number 2, player I've invested a lot in best ball this year. Derek Carr, number 2 ROI, according to Stochastic, with Alvin Kamara, Rachaad White, Roman Wilson again. Stochastic tools loving Roman Wilson, and that will be a thing we disagree on this weekend. Roman Wilson, Chris Olave, Drake London, Chikakonkwo, CeeDee Lamb, and Bills. It's okay. I kind of like the solver builds a little bit more. Obviously, more Jaden Daniels looks good. Let me see here, just out of curiosity, where they have Jaden Daniels at. All right, so they've got some high ROI lineups for Jaden Daniels as well. They've got Daniels, Walker, Zamir White, Tyreek, Deontay, Christian Kirk, Kyle Pitts, Terry McLaurin, Titans. That feels pretty similar to the ones we saw up top on the solver. We got Jaden, Kamara, Zamir White, Wandale, Drake London, Christian Kirk, Kyle Pitts, CeeDee Lamb, Titans. Unstacked Jaden. I have to say he might go unstacked more than you would think. Too easy to get McLaurin in. McLaurin's price tag is too cheap. If you checked out my first fantasy points column yesterday, I'll be doing a weekly prop bets column for fantasy points, which is going to get more me every week. For week 1, I tried to play a little bit close to the vest. I should drop the link in chat real fast just because I would like to plug it and make sure you guys give it a read. I said this week that I would love to take Terry McLaurin's plus 100 rushing or receiving yards prop. I think it's at plus 500 on some sites. That's one I would take. Jaden, 1.5 or higher touchdowns, I think looks pretty good as well. I like the bet a lot, but I do think for DFS, McLaurin might get overplayed a little bit. Check out my column on fantasy points for more on that stuff, but and check it out no matter what would support me there, as I'm doing a different site besides just me doing this bullshit here on Splash Play. And Stochastic, not doing Stochastic this year either. But Jaden here, unstacked, more merits. What's a QB +2 with Jaden? All right, we got Jaden, Kamara, Zamir White, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Zach Ertz, Rashad White, and Titans. This one actually looks a lot like one I built by hand yesterday. Curtis Samuel, I think, pretty cheap at 4,900. Keon Coleman, rotating those guys around, trying to capture one of them having an outlier game. And in an Arizona-Buffalo game, I think goes off. It's kind of appealing to me, but these are the Jaden builds. I don't have to show you all Jaden builds. We can look at more. But let's favorite the top 150, see what the Sims are thinking overall. So in terms of exposures, they would give you the most Alvin Kamara right now. Tyreek Hill a good amount, Rashad White a good amount, Christian Kirk in a third of lineup, Zamir White in a third of lineup. So that's where the Sims are pushing right now via Stochastic. In terms of the expected ROIs, highest ROI is for Roman Wilson. So that's weird on Roman. The Sims love Roman Wilson this week. Think it's really the price tag and what it makes work. I would say trying to rotate around here where it's a $3,200 salary. You put in Yoshevich, you look at Stochastic and ETR, Roto Grinders, whatever you want. Just find who every site's projecting to be the best plays around 3K and just kind of rotate those guys around. I would not heavy up on Roman Wilson like the Sims seem to want to do. Where did Roman Wilson go? Let me filter it here. Filter Roman. They want you to get 13% Roman, which isn't egregious, but that's enough Roman Wilson that I have some concerns with. Love fantasy points. Been out of ass talk from Scott and Gang last. Yeah, a lot of ass talk lately for them. Yeah, the new stat that Fantasy Points has put out, their average separation score. Feel like I've seen it on Twitter more than any other stat in a while besides DVOA back in the day before I worked at Football Outsiders, and then they ruined it. but the ASS, the ass stat, like I gotta be real about it. It makes me cringe a little bit. Stat, honestly, Bateman had 50 plus receiving yards yesterday. So Bateman was one player that the average separation score liked a lot more than the public does. And I guess it worked okay. But anyway, these are the lineups here. You get the idea. If anybody wants me to look at a particular stack, I can, but I don't know. I'm not seeing any requests, so I might just move on. What's Van Jefferson's price? I don't know offhand, but he probably would be a pivot. People just like to say ass. That's why it's everywhere. Yeah, and also, too, I think people trust the Fantasy Points guys a lot. Like, I've really enjoyed talking to Scott Barrett lately. Very sharp guy. I think when they say there's a new stat, something interesting, I think that's where it goes. I'll give Justin the one freebie here, Geno Smith stacks. Again, if you are not a paying member of the channel, by the way, I'll give you more stuff on the data video. This one I do try to keep a little bit tighter for people that are coming in and not familiar with the channel. We got Geno here. Let's take a look at that. Geno with Kamara, Walker, Tyreek, Roman Wilson, Lockett, Ingram, DK Metcalf, Texans. So QB +3 for that one feels a little bit aggressive. QB +2, still Lockett and Metcalf. So the Sims prefer Lockett and Metcalf over including Kenneth Walker in a Geno build. I'd be more inclined to go a QB +2 where you're getting Walker with it. I don't want the QB +3 with Walker. I feel like getting Walker with Metcalf would be my ideal. Let's see, lineup contains Walker and lineup contains Metcalf. All right, let's find a QB +2. All right, so we got Geno, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Metcalf, Drake London, Pop Douglas, Evan Ingram, Terry McLaurin, Patriots. I don't mind that one. You're getting what could be the best part of that Washington-Tampa Bay game if Jane Daniels doesn't hit. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine a world where McLaurin hits enough to win a Millie Maker and Jaden doesn't make a lineup. But if maybe you can get different enough, you get Geno at a little bit different salary, you get this game stack. It's possible. Yeah, I'd say it's possible. I don't love these builds, though, for Seattle. Anyway, let's hand build a lineup here. So let's hand build based upon everything we've talked about today. Where does it begin? Where do we start? You know where it starts. It's Jaden Daniels, my hand build. And I will say, to my credit, I don't give myself enough credit sometimes on here. I can tell you, I watched a lot of streams yesterday. I think I'm the only one that put Isaiah Likely in the lineup build that we talked about. So I don't know if that means that this line is going to be as good with the hand build, but we did get to Likely yesterday. See if we get to Likely again. Tyler checking in from Vegas. All the people in Vegas for the ship chasing stuff, the FFPC drafts. Hope they're having a good time. Seems like fun based on what I was seeing on the Slack. All right, RB here. Let's go. Kenneth Walker, done. Love this guy this week. He's going to be one of my top plays. I like him. Don't love Alvin Kamara quite as much, but the price tag works. We can do chalky RBs on this kind of build. Kamara, been banged up. There's really nobody else to go to in this offense besides him. The way he fails is probably Taysom Hill taking away some goal line work, taking away some different work. So that's where Kamara can fail. Connor against Buffalo, he could definitely punch in 2 touchdowns in that kind of game environment. He'd be a lower-owned pivot. The projection, though, seems to probably be a little bit higher for Kamara, right? Yeah, 16.9 projection for Kamara. All right, fuck it. We'll go Kamara here. Very, very fun yesterday. There we go. I hope so. It is a likely start. Hey, look, there's results that could prove how likely it was. But yeah, look, I was happy with that. When somebody left me a comment, it was like, this lineup killed yesterday. And I was like, I didn't even fucking realize. But yeah, we built a Lamar team with Likely, with Rashee Rice. So we built a very nice team. Faded Mahomes in that one as well. All right. Receivers, McLaurin's got to be one of them. We're not going to worry about the timing in the afternoon and all that. It is a late game for Tampa Bay, though. So in most lineups you're going to build, McLaurin would have to be in the flex spot. We're going to put him in. A little bit conflicted with the Mike Evans versus Chris Godwin thing, where Chris Godwin being the slot player who's going to be treated like Cooper Kupp, that's been all the talk this offseason. In full point PPR, that could be appealing. But, you know, Evans, we do know, has the bigger spike weeks. I feel like Godwin is kind of more of a middle play, but my brain immediately goes to Evans when I'm thinking about a bring back for this game often. I'm going to go Godwin instead. I think get a little bit lower ownership. 12.6% projected ownership for him. 7.5 for Evans. We got to go Evans then. All right, fuck it. Evans it is. People like, I mean, the Sims seem to like the Christian Kirk play. Zamir, I don't like the the Raiders rather. I'd rather go the Chargers D. So this has been a hand build I've made a few times recently. But yeah, I'm going Chargers D over Zamir. I think Zamir is going to be an easy click. I don't think he's that talented. Certainly can lose that game, but I think the Chargers come down and put an impressive defensive performance out in week 1. So I'll probably play some Zamir, but I don't think he'll be a priority for me. We need more receivers. Highest projected play, Tyreek. At this point, we could probably afford him and make it work. I'm going to go Tyreek here. I think I upped his projection a little bit. That's not what we meant to do. We got Tyreek there. I'm going with the Ertz double here. We've seen, again, a lot of single stacks with Jaden be important based on the Sims so far. We're going to deviate from that. Go Zach Ertz. Okay, there we go. We got Ertz. 3,400 left for the flex. Jalen Tolbert, not the best play in the world. Who's the best projected play? Roman Wilson. The Sims do love Roman Wilson. Trey Palmer, not far behind. I think we got to come off Tyreek, which sucks, but I think that's just the way that's got to go. So let's get a lesser owned play here. I like Jefferson versus the Giants. I think that's a fun click. And we could, I think, maybe mini correlate that. So let's go Jefferson instead. I'm sure Neighbors is too expensive, right? Neighbors just over 5K. It looks like 5,900. How do I get to 5,900? Neighbors. Can I get Godwin in? Shit. This is it then. This is it. Oh, no. Minus 700. Shit. Okay. Got to kill the defense, I guess. Can we get a cheap enough defense? Is there a $2,200 defense? There's not a $2,200 defense. Fuck me. Did we go sin it? I'm so close to the team. I really feel like something. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Come off Kamara. We can free up enough here. Let's just do that. So we come off Kamara. So this is a really labored hand build, guys, but I'm in the zone. I don't know what kind of zone, but I'm in a zone. All right, now we got Zamir White. We still got the Chargers D. Jalen Warren. Javonte. Both RBs in the same game. Jerome Ford, leave a little money on the table. I can live with Jerome Ford. I can live with this play. Though Chuba Hubbard would be direct leverage. All right. We're getting direct leverage on Kamara here. We're going to go Chuba's way. We can upgrade the defense a little bit further if I want, which I think I'm going to try to do. This doesn't fucking scroll down to the defense well enough. Here we go. All right. Defense. We can now afford the Vikings. We can afford Seattle. We can afford the Bucks. We don't want any of those. Browns D versus Dallas. Dallas having a game from hell with Ford being an okay play. All right, let's do this. $500 on the table, 116-point projection, and we can sim it here. Just run into single sim. I fucking put the wrong one in again. I got to put the large contest. Yeah, whatever. We'll do it again. Positive ROI. All right, 21% ROI. So my final hand build team here. We got Jaden Daniels, Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Justin Jefferson, Zach Ertz, Malik Neighbors, and the defense that you cannot see is in fact the Cleveland Browns. So there we go. I'm on fire. I'm on something. All right, guys. Last two steps here in our Friday fantasy football gauntlet. I'm doing one of them on a tab you can't see right now. Battle Royale time on Underdog. So Underdog's got some promos going. First of all, number one, promo code SPLASH gets you $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit on there. That deal's still going, so load up for the season if you want for yourself. Battle Royales in particular, a lot of fun this year, lots of content. I know Pete's doing weekly videos. The Dabs Bros has some great content out there if you're really trying to wrap your head around the scroll DF down of it all. You're going to get in Battle Royales, but check that out. And Underdog also has a free deal going today. Jalen Hurts free pick and also a 10% deposit bonus for current depositors too. So Jalen Hurts free pick, which is for everyone, not just new customers. Everybody can have a free pick with Jalen Hurts. Oh my God, all these fucking guys. This is the most Pete Camp Pecan, Jewish McCaffrey, Chalupa Batman. These are the reggies, Nariki, the regulars of regulars here. And the two Chris is just going to get beat up by these guys here in a Battle Royale. Yeah, good deals going on Underdog. Check it out. That Jalen Hurts free pick, again, doesn't matter what site you're on or, rather what your status is. You get a free pick as part of your pick'ems on Underdog today. And then you also get a 10% deposit bonus. So two big things coming up. Some good deals coming up every day on Underdog as well. They've got discounts on college football players tomorrow. Dak Prescott free pick on Sunday. So lots of ways to make yourself a little bit better. Get a little more EV on Underdog if you want to do that. Okay, Felix is already in. Of course, he's pecan. There you go. I wasn't blaming you for coming in this one. I can't control the Battle Royales, unfortunately. Tegan's not practicing today, apparently, with a hammy. Well, that would certainly make the Yoshivas chalk look more appealing. Look, if you get Chase not playing and Higgins not playing, Yoshivas is a fucking smash because he's been running chase routes his entire camp. So that's something to keep in mind. But right now, Yoshivas came up a lot on the solver. And as of right now, I don't think Yoshivas is a great play. It seems like Stokastic likes Roman Wilson. Yoshivas on ETR. Those are your cheap guys that are coming up a lot. Panicking on Andrews yet? No. He didn't look great. I do think visually he looked probably the most sluggish he's looked, but they have to feed him the ball more. You can't have a guy you're paying that much money to and not give him more work. So I wouldn't be worried on that front. I'm not big on I didn't do the new upgrade. Fuck. I didn't do the best ball overlay upgrade for this, which is on me, which would actually be really helpful for this process. We got Bijan here. Not really a scroll the F down kind of play. Nico. I could do Nico. I can always do Nico. So receiver got bled out a little bit here. These guys up top took all the big names. We'll go Nico for it. RB's more valuable on Underdog than it might seem sometimes. Just one thing to keep in mind on there. Jonathan Taylor scoring some touchdowns. Not a bad situation to have, I think, when you have Nico Collins. A receiver, though, a little bit of risk to some of these guys. Let's go Jonathan Taylor. So a little mini stack, no matter what here. Taylor and Nico hopefully going head-to-head here. Taylor, I do have some concerns over the course of a year, just how AR gobbles away some of those goal line touches. The fact that he can just run in a touchdown from 5 yards over and over and over again. For Jonathan Taylor, the positive, though, would be last year, where Zach Moss had that workload to start the year. As the year went on, it was just Taylor seizing more and more work until the point Zach Moss was barely on the field. That's what I expected to be from day one this year. So that's the positive of Taylor. The downside is that it's just not Gardner Minshew out there, handing it off over and over again. Filling so fast, my 20. Wow, okay, so doing a lot. A lot of Battle Royales out there. Battle Royale prize pool this year. Let me see if I can pull that up real fast. And again, I really will give the credit to the Best Ball Overlay tool. Promo code SPLASH at bestballoverlay.com. I'm an idiot and didn't show it on screen today. I don't think I have the time to install it to do that. Let me see if I can do it in a different window. Because they built a really fucking sick tool, and I'm not doing my job if I'm not showing you guys it. Battle Royale Overlay. All right. I'm trying to see if I can do this on another tab. Bear with me, guys. How the fuck? I forget how to install this shit. I don't know. Anything works. I don't want to miss my pick. I fucked up not doing it before the stream, though. I will admit that. All right, so we got the Nico bet. I mean, Kamara's chalk as well. Rashad White, just a player I don't like very much. Kamara is so valuable everywhere else, and yet he's not going until pick 17 here. I'm going to go Kamara. I'm going to let Stroud float around for a little bit because I would like to come over the top with a Washington stack potentially, is what I'm thinking. But maybe I'll leave this to the room a little bit. Great show as always. Go Birds tonight, dude. I do a show on tonight's game. No, not going to do one tonight. I'll talk about it a little bit when I do the members video after this one, talk about the stats, but not going to do a full video on it. All right, well, we know what I believe. Scroll the F down for Terry McLaurin here. Don't care that it's week one. The best ball bet has not changed. The weekly bet has not changed. We got a Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin build. Again, willing to go 2 RBs more in Battle Royales to just have a higher win rate. As the year goes on, you identify some double stacks that can hit. You can play it a little bit more. For week one, though, I really would say I think going 2 RBs is going to be the move. For Battle Royales, yeah. I initially tried to go in head first with my 1 RB, 3 receiver stacks a lot in Battle Royales. I don't think the EV's there quite as much. And frankly, enough sharp people have pointed out the EV's not there as much. Whereas, you want to be there for receivers in general. Obviously, that's always the concept, I believe, in everything fantasy football. For Battle Royales, though, it's just about getting that, 15 to 20 points and being able to also, single in a little bit more, kind of focus in a little bit more on players that have the shots be true outliers. If you're doing a double stack, it's unlikely that 2 receivers are going to be true outliers. You have to have the nuts in a Battle Royale more than you do pretty much any other format. Anyway, we've got 2 outs at QB now, so that was sort of my goal here. If Stroud keeps falling, we can take him. Juice McCaffrey ends up going Stroud's way. I imagine he's going to go with a Dalton Schultz stack at the end. But we'll see what that ends up for him. These 2 guys around me need QBs. Hopefully none of them take Jaden Daniels. Hopefully they're more team AR. Not in terms of a single stack, but yes. I mean, some of the players I've seen who've won Battle Royales take the QB in the last round and just take a QB that's not even getting drafted because the stack works. Their stack partner's not getting drafted as well. So I think that's generally the way you'd want to do things, but obviously, there's going to be different wiggle room based upon how things occur week to week. And some of the things too, frankly, that have worked in previous years at a certain point might stop working quite as well. But that's, who knows? Battle Royales to me are a very tough game. I've cashed enough in them. I have not had a really good sweat on one in a while. But I only play 1 or 2 a week. I'm not a maxer in them. The other things I did more, I was doing well in NBA Battle Royales because that you could just do auto drafting off projections. For NFL ones, it's a lot of time. I'd rather play DraftKings DFS personally for that amount of time. But obviously, it is a fun format. I think it's a great toilet game. I think the issue is the people who really fixate on it and are obsessed with it are trying to grind every bit of EV, and they're doing it across 150. So it's now the same thing as traditional DFS, except that it's more fun to play on a toilet. I think that's sort of what the Battle Royales are, in terms of how I view them at the very least. All right, so we've got an Indianapolis, Houston correlation here. So a little micro stack, not a must-have, but I still feel more comfortable doing that. We have Washington stacked up with Terry McLaurin. The double with Ertz, again, I don't think it'd be unreasonable just because I view our boy Terry McLaurin in a different light than others do. Ferguson versus Cleveland. Just real fast. Let me see if there's any matchup advantage here. Cleveland's D was really good last year. Cleveland, 0.01 EPA, low target rate allowed to tight ends. Ferguson could still put up 2 touchdowns here. We're getting him a bit of a discount. I think we scrolled the F down enough at QB and receiver. So we're going to go Jake Ferguson here as a value. The final team here is a 1-2-2-1. Jaden, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin, and Jake Ferguson are your plays here. And those are the plays we're going to go with. All right. Last step on this journey before we hop over to the members only stream and do some breakdowns game by game on there. We're going to do a pick 'em. So number one would be if you have that Hertz pick 'em. Let's see. Oh, that's the entry amount. Oops. Hertz. All right, so I'm not seeing the free pick 'em for me here. I'm not doing a Hertz one today. Well, we're going to start with our strength, the things that we believe in the most. Jaden Daniels is not available to bet on right now. Can I not hit his higher and lowers? Okay, no, I can. Seems like you can't do Jaden's most of his numbers here. Completion percentage, I think, would be a higher. This is weird. Oh, these are his season props down here. So yeah, his game props are blocked right now. I would be, wow, longest completion is 33.5, huh? Okay. 7 rushing attempts. I mean, I would take over on a lot of these. Really. The 1.5 passing TDs, though, I think is the most fun higher to take here. But we'll do completion percentage. I'll go higher on 63.1%. Jaden's so accurate, and also this Kingsbury offense we've seen so far, going to be a lot more check downy, a lot more horizontal than you'd like to see. So I do think for Jaden, that stands out to me in this particular build where we can't select some of the more traditional lines to go with. I would also pair that with McLaurin. One of the best things you could do is enter pick'em correlation for yourself. As always, Terry McLaurin here, fantasy points would be okay. Receiving yards over 60.5. I've bet him over 100. So yes, I would take the higher on 60.5 receiving yards in this pick'em. We'll add more picks in Underdog fucking panicking at me right now. Relax, Underdog. We're going to get there. Other hires this week. What do I really feel strongly about? I mean, I do believe in the Tampa Bay side. Washington's D is going to be dog shit. Can you do a Baker one? Baker higher 248.5. Yeah, I think this game is a shootout. If I had to guess, and again, I think people will go, logically, we'll go Jacksonville, Miami, potential shootout. What are the other high total games this week? Well, Green Bay, Phillies today. Arizona, Buffalo, possible shootout. Houston, Indy, possible shootout. Jacksonville, Miami, highest total of the week, possible shootout. I think they're going to overlook the 42.5 total game in Washington, Tampa Bay. So I think that game puts up, I think the game puts up 60 points this week. I think it's a game, and if I'm wrong about it, then I'm going to be really fucking bummed, but I would plant that flag. I think that game, both defenses not good. Both defenses don't defend well downfield. Washington's defense might be worse talent-wise, even though I think they're going to be a little bit better coaching-wise. This game, to me, is the one where I really think everything comes down to it. Of course, I'm in the bag for Jaden. I'm always going to see it through that prism, but even independent of that, like the matchup, if I saw this matchup for any other team, I would go nuts on it. And we have my favorite player in a matchup that I think both sides should put up a lot of points. I think with everything you're doing, just trying to take some hires, trying to play into this game is what I would do for the week. Some props that we had from fantasy points this week. Let me see if Stafford's here. He's got higher on 0.5 rushing yards. Fantasy points has him being like about a 3.5 yard projection. A lot of QB rushing stats generally were favored by fantasy points this week. So Stafford higher than 0.5 rushing yards against the Detroit team, gets good pressure. Stafford runs about 1.5 times a game. He just has to get you 1 yard. So I think those kind of bets I don't mind very much. So anybody else I really want to plant a flag for? Kenneth Walker would be another one, I think. To build out this pick'em for real here. I would take the higher on TDs here. You're getting, that's stupid. So you get a better line on rushing TDs, which is just more likely for him to hit. I get why you'd get the lower one for rushing and receiving, but I'll take rushing here. higher on that. Walker, I expect to be involved in third downs more this year, but this is my pick 'em slip. Let's see. I wonder if I can enter it because it gave me special access to play pick 'em or like to build pick 'ems on screen. I normally can't play them in PA. Let's see. I can't play them in PA still. I was hoping. Anyway, my final pick 'em slip here. We got Jaden. We got Terry McLaurin. We got Baker Mayfield. We got Matthew Stafford. We got Kenneth Walker here. So these are my favorite plays of the week, guys. That's not like I will have my money on these guys this week. That's the guarantee. So I guess we can do 3 takeaways here to close out the video before we hop over to the members only stream. And if you want to watch this video, I really can tell you, like, last year, our guy Lateralis just used my data sheet, which I gave every week to paying members, and he won 50K, I believe. It might have been 100K, but it was somewhere in that range of 50 to 100K last year, just using the data. So I would join down below and check out the member stream because I'm going to be going game by game and really pouring over the data for that one. So that's coming up after the stream ends. Of course, show your love here. Subscribe down. Show your love. That was a cringy. I apologize for saying it that way, but show me some love here. That's the much better way of saying that. And subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Of course, my entire process in football begins in January. I do drafts every day. I break down rookies. I start my analysis and news gathering at that point of the year. And I bring all that information that comes from the entire year into the season. So there's no disrespect to a lot of creators out there, but I can hear it when I watch content right now. You can tell who's been watching football stuff, paying attention to football all season and all off season long. You can tell who hasn't. And I can tell you, and I have the work here, as you can see on the channel, I've been paying attention from day one as aggressively as possible, both for myself and, of course, for our community here, who does look to me to have some sort of solid takes on stuff. So that's my promise here on Splash Play, and I'll keep giving it to you here every day. So please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, check it out. And hopefully I'll be back on Sunday morning for more, but that one TBD. Underdog promo code SPLASH, $1,000 deposit match. Stochastic, big one on there, 15% off. Check the link in the description. All the data, Sims tools I showed you here, that's all 15% off, and they have some special deals where it's like $1 for your first week, and I still get affiliate attribution credit for it. So check the link in the description, support the show, support yourself, get Stochastic's tools. If you want to use the solver, again, the solver, I think a lot of credibility for that as well. The optimization of it, ETR's data, all great stuff to have. The solver, a great tool as well. No discount on there, but click the link in the description, go over there. And again, it helps the show and shows some love and gets you the solver. And best ball overlay, if you want to do battle royales, I will show it next week. I promise. I fucked up today. But that battle royale tool that they built is really fucking cool. I've seen demos of it. I've seen it on stream a few times. Check it out for the battle royales. Bestballoverlay.com, promo code SPLASH. If you're one of those people putting in 150, use their ownership tool. It is a much better tool than what I just did, kind of eyeballing it here. I bet that team sucks, and I bet if I used their tool, it would have been better for it. I bet the team doesn't suck, but the team could have been really good. Instead, it was just like, okay, probably. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. I think we have a few new members here, but reading the names real fast. We got Robert Griffith III, Historical Anomalies, Matthew Emerson, Tyler, CLN, Mathology, Rupesh, Ivan, Tony Mark, Brandon Wagner, Consigliere, Aaron D, Nez, Jake Twitchell, fucking Alpha, Mr. I'm the KY, Kevin Castro, Sammy Telesco, Lateralis, Rod Beast, Robin, Lunchable Connoisseur, Short Gamer, Carlos Manzo, Chuck the Deuce, Gabe Davis, Thomas Schultz, Laces Out, Jeff F, Craig B, Hoosier Devo, Jason F, Michael Thomas, Steel City Blue, W4 Omega, C40, Artillery Frost, Benny, D. Owens, Meatwad, Kyle Zook, Field Moosey, Nick Stevens, Movie Butthole, Dylan Holzer, Dylan Courts, Rough Butt Fire, Joe the Show, Broncos, Best Ball Bryans, SCL Bree, Bob Hale, Independent Thinker, JBK Tampa, Paul B, Duke Dean, Adam Rockoff, Anthony Revela, Curtis Broom, Vicious, Chris Pointer, Matthew Freeze, Dylan Gibson, ATX Bearcat, DB Betts, Matt K, Kevin, Ball King, Mr. Patrick, Chung Out, BJH, DTs, Best Ball on Call, Steve Nance, 283 Speed, Red Spike, Disbanded Brotherhood, Sean and Autumn, Cheesesteak Lover, Trader Mike, Mad Max, Popinski, Who Hames, Bradley Roberts. They all contributed. You two contribute here. Joining down below. Stay tuned, guys. Stream coming up here. I'm going to redirect you to the members only stream coming up. I will be there breaking this shit down. I'll see you guys over there. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy your days. No matter what you're playing, no matter what you're betting, go Jay Danielson. Fuck you if you're not doing that. But no matter what you're betting, good luck. Bye-bye.